Hello, women and maybe men. Welcome back to my channel. This is Motherhood Empowerment. I am Bianca Saeed, your Motherhood Empowerment Coach. Now, today I want to talk about something very, very, very critical and important, okay? What I want to talk about today is how the contributions of a stay-at-home mom are minimized. We do it ourselves. We allow other people to do it. And society has ensured that on a large scale, this is the way things are going. Now, look at this if you don't believe me, okay? Only about national average, 28% of moms of young kids choose to stay home or stay home, whatever. Only 20% of moms stay home these days. This is in stark contrast from, the past generations, right? And I get it. You don't want to be in the house all day. Things modernize, technology advances, things become more available. You have more options, blah, blah, blah. But also there's this cultural shift towards childlessness and anti-family, anti-monogamy, anti-marriage, anti-religion. And it's really toxic. And I want to talk about how that has affected how people value and regard and treat stay-at-home mothers. Okay, so I just watched this TikTok because, the work that I do, I see a lot of, purposefully too, I see a lot of mistreatment of stay-at-home moms. And I am out to change that because not only is it wrong, but what we're doing is so incredibly important that I feel like I'm living in like some kind of weird Twilight Zone where it's like everything's flipped on its head and like truth doesn't exist anymore. It's like, how is this not obvious? But I was listening to this and it's on my TikTok if you want to check it out. I'll put the link below. This man told his wife that she has been riding on his income for the last 10 years. Ooh, okay. So I'm sorry. If that was really loud in your ear, I'm so sorry. Okay. But this gets me really heated because, and you can probably assume why, because you're probably feeling the same thing. Okay. Why the hell would he think that this is appropriate to say to his wife? Okay. And this is assuming she's a healthy person, right? And that she brings a lot to the table when it comes to quality of her work, right? And the sentiment still applies because there are men who speak this way to women that are in fact proven healthy role models and attentive caregivers to their children. Why would he think that that's okay to say? Well, we live in a society, beside him just being a complete douchebag, we live in a society that tells us, right? And this is part of the toxicity of liberal modern feminism. I'm not talking about like radical feminism where it's like, let women be women, and complementarianism feminism, which is like, there is 100% sacred value in a male, 100% sacred value in a female. We are different and we should exist differently, but we come together to create what is this glorious life and family and society, blah, blah, blah. Sacred union, right? I'm talking about liberal feminism that has been telling us for years, for decades, that it is more important for men and women now to pursue career achievements and professional achievements and income and benefits and resources over relationships and family. Okay, so this completely goes against our biology, but I want to talk about psychologically here, right? And if you know anything about psychology, sales psychology, marketing, you will know that like all of these social movements that happen, a lot of them are very politically driven in terms of being like a marketing campaign. And so if you're watching this, you probably already agree with that. You probably already see that, right? So what happened was women started leaving the home in droves, right? And women started, reflecting back to men that like, yeah, this is more valuable than being at home with the kids. And, this is less miserable and this is more significant and more of a contribution to society. It's more important than doing something like being at home with children all day. Ugh, being stuck in the house all day, cleaning and cooking and being barefoot and pregnant in the kitchen and just like being a totally oppressed servant, right? And while I recognize that there are certainly merits to these concerns, 100%, it is not inherently so that choosing to stay home and prioritize your children and your nest or your home is inherently less valuable than bringing home an income, or inherently less enjoyable or fulfilling than going to work. So men have began to, a long time ago, men started to believe this. Men were like, yeah, they hate being home, they're miserable being home. And obviously, like, everybody wants to be at work and contributing income and pursuing their career goals. Come on. That's what everybody wants to do. That's what's important. That's what the cultural messages are telling us. That's what the government is telling us, right? How many stay-at-home mom job opportunities have you seen in the last 10 years being pushed by the government? There's lots of like opportunities, work from home, make money as a stay-at-home mom. Why don't you do double, triple, fucking quadruple duty, man? Why don't you bring home the money, take care of the home, and watch the kids? You can have it all. No, really. No. It's not having it all. You can do it all. That's what they're trying to tell us, is that you should kill yourself. You should work yourself into the ground and literally kill yourself trying to achieve this this thing that's impossible, right? So anyways, so this guy thought it was okay to say that, like, you've been riding my income because you ain't been working. It's disgusting. It makes me sick. And I personally know women whose husbands have said this bullshit to them, okay? Personally, okay? So this is not just something I'm seeing on the fucking internet, right? I'm a little fiery today. This makes me very upset because my sisters are out there trying to respect their biological design and foster and maintain that attachment to their children. And there are active, huge, overwhelming social, cultural movements, and even their own husbands sometimes trying to tell them to go against it. And part of this has to do, so we know the past that led up to this, right? Like I said, only 28% of moms with young kids stay home, choose to stay home, or find themselves staying home. I don't know, the exact details aren't specific about choosing or not choosing. But so then they also have this internal voice, which is the same messages that males got in the education system, which is like, oh, shouldn't you be working? Shouldn't you be producing something? Oh, your partner's going to be upset that you didn't do a million things today because you've got to earn your keep since you don't work and bring in an income. That's such bullshit. But then you also have your husband, the person that is supposed to be your life partner, the man that like is supposed to be the one that's like, wow, seeing like your absolute value and what you bring to the table in terms of just being with his children. Like, he's the one sometimes in some situations that is patronizing you and degrading you and betraying you by saying those types of things, okay? So it's really disgusting. However, one of the ways in which we perpetuate this cycle, this disgusting, toxic cycle, right? And we encourage other people to criticize us, is that we do not talk about the sheer value we bring to the table. So it's been brought to my attention and it needs to be brought to the front, okay? So here's what we're going to do. We're going to stop, okay? Just casually mentioning things that we do, but instead we're going to discuss or detail in writing something that will live on forever, documenting in a video diary, something that expresses and details all of the things that you contribute when you do all the tasks you do throughout the day. So, for example, there was somebody that said like, oh yeah, she was describing like, yeah, you pay for the kids' sports stuff, but then she takes them to the sports. And that's like such a gross, like those things aren't the same. You can get online and you can click a few buttons and it pays the bill. Done. The dad's done. He's done. He paid. You know what the mom has to do, right? She has to tote the kids around. Hopefully they behave. Hopefully they participate, cooperate. Hopefully they're not having a bad day. Hopefully they're not sick. Tote them around town. Hopefully you live in a safe area. I mean, hopefully that there's not a kidnapper at Target that day. Hopefully you can go to Target and you don't have to find somewhere else to go. I don't know. Like, the car ride alone, right? Okay. And then make sure you have enough food for them. Make sure that they go to the bathroom. They can go to the bathroom when you go to buy the sports equipment, because you don't want them pissing all over the floor, right? That would be traumatic for everyone, especially your kids. So, and hopefully they're not potty training. And so, you go to the store, you have to find all the right gear while you have two developing humans with you. And then you have to secure that. You have to get them back home safely, right? Hopefully in time for dinner. Hopefully you have something prepped, right? And then, you have to, schedule in their little sports events. And then, every single time you take the kids out of the house, it's just hoping that they cooperate with you and that you don't melt down, right? So it's like, you take them to the sporting event, and then here's the big thing, right? Here's a huge symbolic example of how stay-at-home moms contribute. It's like intangible yet priceless value. Okay, so you take them to their sporting event. Hopefully, your younger kid or kids cooperate while you're trying to watch them. Okay, and they don't run away or whatever. So you're watching them, right? You're observing what they do. You're trying to make sure they cooperate with the coach and the other teammates, blah, blah, blah. You want to build them up. You want to make sure that they know that you see their effort. And this is like we are naturally driven to do this. When we are in a healthy state, we are driven to foster and facilitate the growth of our children. That is what mothers do. And so, we want to make sure that we notice the mistakes they're making, or things they can improve on, however you want to word it, that we see all the awesome things they do. Oh, we noticed that one time that they helped their friend up. We want to make sure we encourage that. We noticed that time that they worked really hard when they couldn't get the goal, but then they kept striving and they got it. We want to make sure we highlight that, right? So over time, right, all of these efforts amongst this designed chaos, getting kids to stores and having places be not family friendly and all that stuff, that's all designed working against us, right? But then the monumental task and significant task of building up their character and integrity and self-confidence and self-esteem, right? All throughout the season, making sure that we get a play-by-play. We can tell our husband he couldn't make it. Grandparents want pictures. Then we have to get them home and make sure, hopefully if they didn't lose the game or they're not melting down or something, we have to talk them off the ledge while taking care of the other kids, of course, and making sure there's some kind of dinner on the table, right? So you take one thing, okay, and you dissect it. And paying the bill is important, absolutely, but it's in a completely different way than what we're doing is important. And so with great expectations should come great support. I say this all the time, that being the stay-at-home parent is an overtime job in and of itself. And for every kid, it gets even more so. So how is it that people are expecting us to also do all housemaid duties and chef duties and stuff? It's just, it blows my mind. But it's this cultural expectations and all of these social movements, these liberal feminist social movements, combined with other things that have driven us to this point of devaluing stay-at-home moms, devaluing women that prioritize family and relationships over pursuing income and tangible achievement in the career force. Okay, so what we need to start doing, like I already said, is we need to start making it public knowledge, all that we contribute and all that we do. And even the things that we struggle with, we need to talk about it so that we can crowdsource solutions, but also so that just people know what the job is like. If we never talk about it, and if we always avoid these conversations because they're uncomfortable or because they're, negative, we think that we're complaining or what. No, you're just processing the experience you went through. And it's no surprise that in the modern day and age, being a stay-at-home mom is so much more difficult than it used to be, just because of the lack of social support and the political ideology of the day, and the fact that supply has gone down because the demand has gone down because most women go to work instead of stay home. So my whole point here is to say, talk about it. Talk about everything you do. Don't minimize it. Don't try to act like it's less significant than it is. It doesn't matter what the other person is thinking or feeling. What you go through is important enough to talk about and to be heard and to be valued. And it's worthy of many, many, many conversations in advocating for that position, because it's not just about you. It's about the role of a mother, the biological, psychological, emotional, spiritual, physical role of mothers. It's just truth. It's not really about you. It's about, our mother's valuable. Our attentive, full-time mother is valuable, right? And I will fight to the death talking about this stuff. I don't care how negative it is, how many annoying guys and women on the internet want to be like, no, 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 no. I don't care. I don't care. I will keep going. I will keep going. I'll never stop. Never stop talking about it. Doesn't matter. Anybody has a different perspective. Cool. That's our perspective. You got yours. Share it. And I will share it. I will share your perspective if you don't want to share it. So leave a comment, send me a DM, send me an email, connect with me anywhere and share your experience, because everybody needs to hear about it. And if you don't want everybody to hear about it, I can put it anonymously. Anyways, that was a very impassioned, impulsive rant, but very needed, very needed, very needed. Always relevant, always important, always worth the time, the 15 minutes I take out of my morning to post this. Love you guys.